G'day Guardians, Roguey here, and today we're going to be looking at the recently buffed hunter exotic, Lucky Pants. As a hunter main, Lucky Pants has always been a bit of a meme in my opinion, and was an insta-shard on site. But now with the recent release of Season of the Lost, came a long overdue buff for our least favourite exotic. Now, alongside its original perks, hand cannons ready faster, gain increased accuracy, and precision shots reloading a single shot to the magazine, it's also sporting a brand new perk which buffs the damage on each of your consecutive hand cannon shots you hit, which is activated upon readying a fully loaded kinetic or energy hand cannon matching your subclass type. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this damage bonus. So, the damage bonus on Lucky Pants, it can stack up to 10 times. Like I said, each consecutive hit adding an additional stack. Now, the damage bonus lasts for a total of 10 seconds. From the testing that I've done, it doesn't look like explosive payload or time payload add an additional stack. So anyone out there thinking they can kind of cheat their way up to that 10 stacks quicker, you're out of luck. So the quickest way to get to those 10 stacks is to find a hand cannon with the highest fire rate and let loose. Seems pretty straightforward, right? But now comes the hard part. Out of all of the hand cannons available in Destiny 2, which hand cannon best to pair with Lucky Pants? Of course, I'm sure we've all seen clips of the exotic hand cannon, The Last Word, unloading a full magazine at high speed, making use of that 225 RPM, the highest of any hand cannons in Destiny 2. But The Last Word falls victim to an incredibly small magazine of only 8 shots. This requires us to reload the gun before reaching those 10 stacks of Lucky Pants. So in today's video, we'll be checking out the next best thing, 180 RPM hand cannons, which ones stand out, and what perks to roll on them. First up on the list, we'll start with Kinetic. My choice here is the 7th Seraph Officer Revolver. The 7th Seraph Revolver might be the strongest choice of hand cannon in the Kinetic slot. I was running this through a legendary Lost sector, and as you can see, I'm able to take off about 2/3 of an unstoppable Phalanx's HP. I do mess up the setup a few times, accidentally switching to my hand cannon before pulling out my heavy, which is a great segue into my other favourite part of the Lucky Pants update. Finally, we are seeing an indication in the form of a debuff, the lockout of activating this damage perk again. This is a great step in the right direction, and I would love to see this included more. Exotics such as Sealed Ahamkara Grasps come to mind, where you are given no sign of when your next melee will reload your clip after the first proc. I tried pairing the 7th Seraph Revolver with Bottom Tree Gunslinger and made use of Withering Heat, seen in this clip where I can easily 100-0 the Overload Hobgoblin. While the role I'm using is Ambitious Assassin and Timed Payload, the role you'd want is 4th Times a Charm and Vorpal Weapon. Easily the most versatile of the hand cannons we'll be looking at today, as you compare it with any of the subclasses, and with that 180 RPM, you'll be hitting those big damage numbers in no time. Next up on the list is the Arc Hand Cannon Posterity. Posterity is a hand cannon from the Deepstone Crypt raid, which honestly has flown under the radar for me. As at the time of its release, hand cannons were seldom seen in high-end PvE content. Why Posterity caught my eye though was due to the reconstruction perk, allowing it to far exceed the magazine size of any other hand cannon in the game. Pair this with its high fire rate of 180 RPM and you'll easily hit 10 stacks of Lucky Pants with plenty of bullets remaining to maximize your DPS. Obviously, you want this to roll with Reconstruction and Rampage in that second column. This will give you maximum damage output for both taking down large targets and clearing a room full of adds. I choose Bottom Tree Arc, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter as none of the Arc trees give you a weapons buff. But I think that this gun is going to be a staple choice for me come any Arc Burn Lost sectors. Alrighty, let's head on over to the Void 180 variant, Ikelos HC V1.0.2. which we'll just be calling the Ikelos hand cannon. With 12 shots in the magazine, 14 with tactical mag, we are once again in a great position to maximize our damage output by getting to those 10 stacks nice and quickly with a few shots left over. Now, up until recently, Ikelos hand cannon was only obtainable from the Prophecy dungeon, which made getting a god roll of it a little bit difficult. But thankfully, with the release of Season 15 and the reissued Trials of the 9 weapons now dropping from Prophecy, the Ikelos hand cannon has been added to the loot pool as a world drop. So if you've got a lot of gunsmith materials, head over to Banshee and try your luck. The roll I'm using here today is triple tap / Vorpal weapon. Triple tap giving us even more rounds back to the magazine, and Vorpal being an absolute staple for taking down those champions. I also played around with this gun in Gambit just a little bit, utilizing that new fusion rifle debuff from the seasonal artifact paired with top tree tether on your hunter for some insane damage output. Now, last but not least, we head on over to Solar, which unfortunately doesn't have any non-sunset 180 RPM hand cannons, but it does have a 90 RPM hand cannon. That's right, Eriana's Vow, the biggest, baddest hand cannon in the game. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about getting to those 10 stacks of Lucky Pants to maximize damage. Eriana's Vow isn't even going to get us close to 10 stacks, but with probably the highest impact of any hand cannon in the game, we may only need 4 or 5 to really make an impact. Now, Eriana's Vow has 6 shots in the magazine, but can go up to a total of 9 with the catalyst. Of course, in an ideal scenario, we hit all of our precision shots, preserving death at first glance, continuously firing every time the gun allows us to. Probably not going to happen, but let's give it a go. Now, testing this on Overload champions in Master, I'm really finding myself only able to get about 4 shots off before they recover. This is fine for Legend Lost Sectors, but Master, you may need a little bit of a higher light level. All in all, Eriana's Vow, it's definitely a fun choice, but maybe better suited for killing yellow bar mages than champions. And there we have it, Guardians, a nice, simple review of 4 different hand cannons, all for the same occasion, getting the maximum amount of stacks on our Lucky Pants. Once again today, we looked over 7 Seraph Officer Revolver, this one I'm using with Ambitious Assassin and Time Payload. Posterity, teaming up with our Arc subclass, see we've got Reconstruction and Rampage here. Ikelos hand cannon, course, our Void variant, and last but not least, the Eriana's Vow. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, got some kicks out of it, and maybe you can pick up one of these hand cannons for yourself, pair them up with your Lucky Pants, and go to absolute town on any unsuspecting champions. That's going to do it from myself for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.